Kevin Nell back with you on SportsCenter. We had a fun duel in the desert last night. Summer League action between the #1 and #2 draft picks, also known as Cade Cunningham versus Jalen Green, also known as Pistons versus Rockets. You know. Right before tip, they high-fived. They were ready to go. A couple minutes left in the half. Green here guarding Cunningham. You know, it really depends on who you ask, Kevin, in terms of, like, who won the one-on-one matchup. I mean, they were both super good. Cunningham dribbles behind his back, knocks down that three. Cunningham had 10 points. Green had 9 points in the first half. Rockets did lead the Pistons by 11 at halftime. And then Green, I mean, he just stuffed the stat sheet, that kid.
He will lead the NBA in scoring in the next 5 years.
Well, listen, 25 points in 30 minutes, I would assume so, right? Cade gives him a few words. These two going back and forth. It's interesting because there's some people who would say it's neither one of these guys for me. It's Jalen Suggs who's going to have the best, right?
Like, he's going to be a star in Orlando.
Certainly going to be fantastic as we take a look at the Cunningham and Green comparison. Really, it's Jalen Green that's putting up those numbers, as I said. He's averaging 24 points a game. Biggest thing, though, he's been more efficient shooting the ball than Cunningham. They've got the two shortest odds to win Rookie of the Year honors, with Cunningham sitting as a plus 260 betting favorite. But because I'm super positive, I do have to mention, too, Cade's defense looked really, really good. The one and only Doris Burke joining us now live from Las Vegas ahead of her Summer League action. More on that in a second. But, Doris, you had a front row seat to that showdown of top picks last night. What were your impressions? And start with the top pick, Cade Cunningham.
You know, I don't think he's probably shot it as efficiently as he would want here in Las Vegas, but every skill that made him the #1 pick has been on display. He can make at 6'8", consistently three-point shooting. He can rise and fire over contested guys because of that size. You can play him on or off the ball in pick-and-roll action. He can get himself downhill. He's got the capability of finishing at the rim, but maybe my favorite aspect of him, Elle, is the fact that this young man is not enamored of being the #1 selection. He said, I want to make sure I reassure the organization and my teammates that I'm first and foremost about winning. To have that maturity at that age, that's pretty special.
I love that. What about the #2 pick, Jalen Green? What did you think about his performance?
Okay, first of all, I love the matchup, and I love that this young man, in Mark Jones's words, was bumping his gums about being #2, not #1. He was going at Cade Cunningham, who kept his cool and temperament. I don't even think Jalen Green played that well, and he went for 25. This guy is electric as a scorer. The handle will tighten with time. His ability to get the nuance and the rhythm of the NBA game. He was at a disadvantage in my mind playing at the 1. Like, they didn't have a true point guard on the roster. He's playing at a position. I like him better on the second side, particularly early, because him attacking a closeout or getting in transition. Look out, Elle. These two young men are great.
They really are so great. And to your point, very young. To go to the opposite end of the spectrum, let's talk about the Lakers. We'll just call them seasoned, if you will, right? Of course, Russell Westbrook was introduced yesterday. We talked about it on the show, but DB, we have to ask you, how do you see Brody fitting on this team?
Listen, Russell Westbrook has had a Hall of Fame career doing the same thing year after year. He is a man who is very in tune with his strengths, and that means he's going to take it off the window. He's going to fill up the box score. He's going to put a ton of pressure on in transition. I think he's probably arriving in his hometown at exactly the right moment because he's going to do everything in his power to win a championship. The question about the Lakers is the same one I had a season ago. Is there enough perimeter shooting to complement LeBron James and Anthony Davis? Because Anthony regressed as a three-point shooter a season ago. I remember when they won the championship in Orlando, Frank Vogel said Anthony Davis's three-point shooting is going to be critical. But listen, you're putting a Hall of Fame guy with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Let's see what happens, and can they make enough shots? That's my only question, because I love Russell Westbrook for how hard he goes night after night after night.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.